Friends, good morning. It's good to be with you this morning. So we are, as you heard at the very beginning of Mass, that opening collect, we're celebrating the feast of St. Agatha, this virgin and martyr of the early church. The church is inviting us to contemplate this woman. Before Mass, Frank and I in the sacristy were just talking about various martyrs and just thinking about, I asked the question, who do you think had of the martyrs that you know, who do you think had the worst martyrdom? We were just sharing some thoughts back and forth. But this is one of the things that I think about with these feast days. Whenever I put this vestment on, and it's not Pentecost or another one of those feasts, when I put this red vestment on, I'm just so acutely aware of the fact that, okay, while it's true that this fabric was dyed in some textile factory somewhere, I don't even know where, but while that's true, like the mystical truth on the deepest level is that this is red because thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of men and women through the ages and children of various levels of, just thousands upon thousands shed their blood for the sake of Christ. That they refuse to capitulate, they refuse to give in. This is dyed red because of their faith. The handing of the baton to the next generation because they refuse to be ground down and to say no, to hide the light under the bushel basket. So who is this St. Agatha, this virgin and martyr? She was born around the year 231. We're not sure exactly where, either Caterina or in Palermo, Sicily. So she was a gorgeous, beautiful young woman according to the hagiography. Early on in her life, she dedicated her life entirely to Christ. She became a consecrated virgin, which is the oldest kind of vocation. It predates religious life. It predates the whole idea of women religious communities, consecrated virginity. And in the church today, actually, there's a resurgence of this particular vocation of consecrated virginity. Lay women living in the midst of the world, living their lives as vowed celibates in union with Jesus the bridegroom. There's a lot of consecrated virgins in the church these days. But her consecration to Christ, it didn't stop men from desiring her. One of those men was by the name of Quintianus. He was a high-ranking diplomat who thought he could force her to kind of renounce her vow and force her to marry him. Picture, Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, right? That kind of guy. We've all seen Beauty and the Beast? Yes? Okay, some of us are like, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, anyway. So Quintianus, he felt so spurned by her rejection, and knowing that Agatha was a Christian, he had her arrested and he had her hauled before the judge. The judge just so happened to be he himself, Quintianus, slimeball. Okay. He expected her to fold when she was faced with all sorts of torture and possible death, but she just simply reaffirmed her belief in God. She said, I will not do this. She prayed, Jesus Christ, Lord of all, you see my heart, you know my desires, possess all that I am. I am your sheep. Make me worthy to overcome the devil. Whew. So he had her imprisoned, first in a brothel. After months of assaults and fighting back and preserving her virtue, Quintianus had her transferred to a prison where she would just be further tortured, which is what happened. So here's what happened to her. He had her stretched on a rack, arms and legs tied, pulled in opposite directions to be torn with iron hooks. She was burned with torches. She was whipped. They had her breasts cut off, and then they sent her back into this prison cell with the order of no medical attention, no food, no water. But the Lord and his angels miraculously were attending to Agatha in her wounds. All of that didn't halt Quintianus's assault against her. You would think, seeing her miraculous recovery, he would maybe pause and think, maybe I'm on the wrong side of this, but it didn't. Eventually, she was, I guess we could say, successfully martyred. She was around 20 years old. Here's the question. How did she endure this? How did she do this? I'm thinking about that because 2 days ago, I was in my office and I was reaching for a marriage file in my little cabinet pull-out credenza drawer, And I mentioned this on Tuesday night at Rediscovering Catholicism. I reached into this drawer, and one of those file folders, the edge of the manila folder, dug itself under my thumbnail. And I wanted to die. It was so painful. How did she do this? Really? How did she do this? How did any of them do any of what they did? How did the martyrs suffer what they suffered? The answer that I'm going to give is going to sound like a first grade PSR answer, but it's the real answer, that it was this deep abiding awareness that Jesus was with them. And it was not just simply it wasn't just simply brute courage. Courage as a virtue, it is the expression of the deeper excess of love. It was the expression of the deeper excess of love. It wasn't the excess of courage that gave her the ability to do this. It was the excess of love that gave her the ability to suffer this. Love is the only thing that gives us the capacity to suffer, and to suffer greatly. I think it was G.K. Chesterton who said that courage on the battlefield is not animated by hatred for the enemy in front of you, but love of the home behind you. This is Agatha. We could say this, that it wasn't so much the home behind her, but the home in front of her that motivated her courage, the excess of love. Okay, so friends, let's call upon her intercession, the intercession of St. Bartholomew, our patron. Let's ask for their intercession that we would fall more and more deeply, madly, wildly, excessively in love with Jesus, to be powerful witnesses in the world today. Amen.